Hi, and welcome everybody to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. I'm your host, Ross Benjamin. As always, my midweek guest is Mr. Chip Chirimbes of the aplay.com. Chipper, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing just wonderful. As long as these big games keep coming through, Ross, we'll be fine. Baseball can use a little help, but I'm actually rooting against the Yankees at this time of the year because I'm so sick of who they're putting out on the field.
Yeah, it's frustrating. There's no two. You even get the feeling, Chip, and again, I hate to get off kilter here because this is a college football show, but you even get the feeling with the Yankees, if they do happen to make the playoffs, it's going to be a one and done with them.
Well, I don't think they're built for the playoffs. We've been saying that all along. And it just seems to me like they're playing as if they think that it's not going to take much for them to get there. I think they think they can have a little streak at the end and ease their way in. But, once someone makes the playoffs, anything can happen. The thing I'm concerned with is I'd love for the Giants to win because I'd hate for that team to win 100 games and have a one-game playoff against the Cardinals because that's trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Anything could happen, right? It's just a matter of who the better starting pitcher is on that day.
Yeah.
And, the way Wainwright's pitching right now, I assume that would be him for St. Louis. Talk about a revelation at 38 years old or 37 years old. He's had a tremendous year, no, Chip?
Absolutely. And at the beginning of the baseball season, when we do this show, I was commenting at least, and you corrected me about where the Cardinals are lost this season. And, they've won 10 in a row coming into today and 12 of the last 13. And I guess they were just waiting for games to really count.
Evidently so. Anyway, it is a college football show.
Right.
And we do have a pair of free picks for you on Saturday. Today is the 22nd of September. And just to let you know that, folks, we're recording on a Wednesday. These games are on Saturday. So these lines are subject to change depending on when you view the video. And don't forget, folks, click that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. It's absolutely free. And we would certainly appreciate it. And while you're there, hit that notification bell. And anytime we put up any sports betting videos on this channel, whether it be with Chip Chirimbes, Craig Trapp, Doug Upstone of Doc Sports, you'll be notified immediately upon those videos going up. Again, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to give us a like at the end of the video. Chipper, what do you got in college football for us on Saturday?
I look at these numbers of these games, we write the lines down and sometimes something sticks out. It's like stubbing your toe or having a sore on your heel. And I saw Clemson, who we expected to cakewalk through the ACC, come up a 10-point favorite against NC State at NC State. And here's a team that's averaging only 322 yards a game. And the Wolfpack, who our juggernaut offensively, are averaging 455 yards a game, and yet Clemson is a 10-point favorite on the road. And, so I'm a little concerned. I'm wondering, like I said, people may say there's value with NC State here, but that's a word I told you that I really don't trust when it comes to sports gambling. I mean, here's Clemson. The Tigers are 13-3 on the road as favorites. And they're 22-9 against the points in the ACC. And, Trevor Lawrence is gone, and they have dominated the ACC the last number of years. But they're 0-3 against the number this season. And all three of their games have gone under the total. And it just seems like a really high number to me. I think the bookmaker's trying to sucker us into the NC State side. NC State 7-1 at home in their last 8 games against the number. So I'm having difficulty here taking NC State, and I think the Clemson Tigers are deciding. I think they're finally going to put a game together, and this is a big spot for them. On the road, though, you may consider the fact that Clemson has gone under 10 of the last 13 times. They only garnered 180 yards against Georgia when they played a really good defense, and we know the Wolfpack's defense just doesn't quite measure up. The road team in this series is 14-6. And oddly enough, both teams are 7-3 against each other on the road in the last 10. Under has gone 6 out of 7 with NC State playing Clemson. But I think the way to go here is to lay the points with the Tigers. I think their defense is going to show up. And I think all of a sudden their offense is going to be seen because we haven't seen much offense out of them at all. and NC State has shown great firepower. This number just seems so out of whack to me, Ross. It really does. That I'd have to lay it before I take it. I think I'd take the Clemson Tigers at NC State.
Yeah, it's reality versus perception here.
Yeah.
When you look at this line, because right now, the way, if you've watched Clemson the first 3 games, I could understand why anybody would want to bet against them, but it's never that easy, folks.
No.
And that quarterback from Clemson, remember, this kid looked good last year. I just think what he's being hurt by, Chip, is the fact that this may be the weakest Clemson wide receiver group that they've had in quite some time. And you consider all the guys that got drafted in the first couple rounds at wide receiver out of Clemson recently, it had to dry up sooner or later. And it certainly seems like this is going to be a year of growing pains for that group anyway. And 14-6 against Georgia Tech last week as the 32-point favorite. It's. And
they haven't been able to run the ball either. I mean, they lost their All-American running back. He goes to Jacksonville and gets hurt in the pros, but he's kind of diminutive. I was surprised at his stature, about how small he actually is. But the Tigers really haven't put it together on the ground or through the year. A quarterback who did so well last year, a replacement of Lawrence when he went down, just they hasn't shown it. They haven't done it at all. And I think maybe this is the week they come together.
Yeah, and the running back you're referring to is Travis Etienne, and the quarterback for Clemson right now that we both refer to, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, so it wouldn't be fair to him. Anyway, my free pick comes in the Rutgers and Michigan game, and I could tell you this, I like the favorite in this game, and I hate myself for it, Chip, because I hate laying this many points, but Rutgers is getting some action, some early action here, and I'm seeing a reverse line movement. And despite the money being pretty much equal, the line opened at 18.5 and is now moved to 20.5, which is a sure tell sign to me. There's a little bit of sharp money anyway going on Michigan. Just an educated guess on my part. Rutgers 3-0 straight up in ATS so far this year, Chip, even though they're a 20.5-point underdog in this game, but it's a fraudulent 3-0 straight up in ATS.
And Ross, Rutgers had 2 players suspended for a paintball incident where they would drive-by. They did drive-by shootings in New Jersey, but they don't use real bullets. They use paint. So, but they've been suspended. I mean, it is an assault. I mean, if you were walking on the street getting hit by that, it could cause some damage. But so Rutgers is undermanned here as well.
Yeah, exactly. And they're 3-0 straight up in ATS run. Let's keep things in perspective. They played Temple in their opener. Yeah, they put up 61 points. They only had 360 yards of offense in that game. They were beneficiaries of a +5 turnover differential.
Right.
Game 2. They win again at Syracuse 17-7, Chip. They only gain 195 yards in that game. Once again, +3 turnover differential was the difference for them. And last week, it can throw out the window because they played an FCS team in Delaware. Now, their +8 turnover differential, that has really made a huge mark in their early success. However, this is a Michigan team that's also 3-0 straight up in ATS, Chip, and they have not turned the ball over yet this year. So I don't think Rutgers might force 1 or 2. I don't think they're going to come out +3 or +5 like they did against their first 2 FBS opponents. Look at Michigan. I mean, they beat Western Michigan 47-14. You say a big deal, Ross. Well, Western Michigan is the same team that went to Pittsburgh last week as a double-digit dog and beat them. Okay, they knocked off Washington 31-10. Washington finally gets their first win of the year last week, but they did enter the season as a top 25 team. And who else did they play? Northern Illinois. Okay, and they crushed Northern Illinois 63-10. What's the big deal, Russ? Same Northern Illinois team that opened up the season with an upset win at Georgia Tech as a 20-point underdog. And who is Georgia Tech? The same Georgia Tech that went to Clemson last week and only lost by 8 as a 32-point dog. My point being, strength of schedule with Michigan. I think the Wolverines are for real. They're a top 10 team. I wanted to wait one more game, and they showed me that's the case. 335 yards plus rushing in each of the first 3 games, 7.1 yards per carry, Chip. They're going to run the ball right down Rutgers' throat. I like Greg Schiano. I think he's doing a great job of turning the program around, but he's coming up way short on this one. I'm going Michigan minus 20.5 over Rutgers.
You know, this is a big year for Harbaugh, and Michigan's a lot of pressure on them, and it looks like he's going to do as much as he can, but he still has to win a big one against Ohio State. We know that, but it really seems like they're on a mission this year after the type of season that they had last year.
Yeah, I mean, early returns would tell you that they got a good chance against Ohio State. So, I mean, as long as they don't stub their toe along the way, and here's the thing too. I mean, Chip just made a good point. Harbaugh is under a lot of pressure. They haven't lived up to expectations. They haven't beat Ohio State with him at the helm. Every chance he gets now, I think he's going to try and run up a score because he wants not only to win, but he wants to win impressively. And hey, what's to say they don't run the table? And if they run the table going into that Ohio State game, they're going to be in a good position to make the 14 playoffs. So we're getting way ahead of ourselves right now. I just want to look at week 4, and I'm on Michigan minus the 20.5 against Rutgers. And Chip says, don't be suckered in. Take Clemson minus the 10 over North Carolina State. Chip, how you been doing lately in college football? What do you got on tap?
Well, really wonderful. On Saturday, we had a SEC game of the month, and Florida came through. Didn't make the 2-point conversion to send the game in overtime, but losing by 2, getting 2 touchdowns. So that was an easy point spread winner. And in the NFL, we've done really, really well, 4-0 with our top 8 plays. So I have another big one this weekend. You and I have discussed it. We have a couple of games we're really keen on, and I'm really looking forward to Saturday.
Yeah, me as well. College football for me, 9-5 in my last 14 this year, and going back to last year, 20-12 with my last 32. That's 63%, folks. College football 10-star top plays. 3 picks this year: week 1, week 2, week 3. Texas San Antonio. I'm looking at my own writing. I can't read it. It's Texas San Antonio or UTSA +5 over Illinois outright. Week 2, I had App State +9 at Miami of Florida. They only lose by 2, and Chipper was there, and he knows too they should have won that game outright. And I also last week I had my 10-star game of the month in college football on North Carolina -7.5. A little bit of early jitters, but second half they just walloped Virginia for a final score of 59-39, 3-0 so far with college football 10-star top plays. Any final thoughts, Chip?
No, I think we're cruising along, and now we've got a little resume under our belt. You know, we've got a little something to go on. First 2 weeks are always the toughest when teams are playing their very first game, and all we do is have reports out of camp. Now we know we've got some point spreads and some results to go by, and really looking forward to the rest of the season. You've had some big winners. I had my SEC game of the month win, and I'm telling you, Saturday, we're really good. I think we're cooking here, both you and I. Yeah, we're cooking with gas, as they say.
You could find Chip at the aplay.com or chipwins.com. You could find me at rbwins.com or rossbenjaminsports.com, whatever you prefer. I'd rather you not spell as many words or letters because there's a higher probability of a mistake. So rbwins.com, chipwins.com. Until the next time, folks, good luck and God bless.